Welcome back to another episode of What You Doing alongside Paul Guarino. I'm Aaron Burrell. We are joined by a very special guest. This is our season finale of season 3. Kaliyah. Welcome to the show.
Hey, how are you?
We're good. How are you doing? How does it feel to be the season finale of season 3 of What You Doing?
I feel so special.
As you should.
I feel so incredibly special. I thought it was episode 1, but I'll take episode last.
That one.
Episode last.
Yes.
It's episode 48.
That one.
There we go. I was a media major, so math was never my strong suit. But PG, business major, undergrad, correct?
Yeah.
See, look at you putting that degree to work. Kaliyah, we love to kick things off with a why Sacred Heart. When did you first know that Sacred Heart was going to be the school that you wanted to attend for college?
Oof. Well, I applied to about 15 different schools. I got into about 12 of them. Okay. Sacred Heart was the smallest. It is not anymore. Sacred Heart was the smallest, so that excited me that it was like a small, personal, compact kind of school. I had a cheer team. I didn't really have a decided major yet, but yeah, that's how I went there.
Okay. And when you get to campus, what dorm do you end up in? Everyone always has, I feel like your first dorm definitely shapes your experience in college. Seton?
Yes. We actually had the biggest forced triple in Seton.
So. He was in that triple too.
And it definitely wasn't the biggest, so.
And when I say biggest, like it was still small. So.
Yeah, we were in the corner, and it was a tight one, but we all couldn't, Right
in the center. It was nice. They claimed it was like a common area at one point. It was great. Good times. It was all pink, decked out, hot pink, from curtains to floor to bedspread. It was great.
And when you mentioned obviously cheerleading, so you started as a cheerleader in your freshman season?
Yes.
Or freshman year?
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. How was the experience?
It was great. It was okay. It was good. I cheered freshman year. I took a leave of absence my sophomore year. Okay. I went back junior year and then unfortunately broke my 4th metacarpal. Still have very limited use of my hand. So my senior year, I didn't do anything. I was a spectator at the football games.
There you go.
Yeah. Was it met OC there? Is that how you met OC?
No. Oof, I met him senior week.
Oh, we'll get into that later.
Yeah, I already knew him. He claims that I ignored him, but I already knew who he was. We just only spoke on like 2 occasions across the whole 4 years. And then senior week.
Senior week is crazy.
Look, here we are, 9.5 years later.
What did you say?
I didn't even know that. That's a great one. That's new. That's different.
Mask off. Never forget that song.
I'm not gonna lie though. During my senior week, I met people that I didn't know, and I thought I was like, "How did I go here for 4 years?" And SHU isn't that big to not like know people, but yeah, it wasn't.
It was just big enough that you wouldn't know everyone. You would know most people, but you didn't know.
Like you were not acquainted with. You were acquainted with people that might have known them, so you might have seen them, but you didn't like speak to them.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I feel like that's how Nick and I were. Like we had similar friends, same friends, but we never personally spoke. Besides, like I said, that 1 or 2 occasions.
Also, it happened to me twice in my high school graduation and my college graduation. I sat next to a person I never saw in my life. And in high school, that was really weird. And then in college, it was weird too because it went by your program. So I was just like, so that's even smaller. And I was like, how? I'm 2 for 2 with sitting next to a person I didn't know at graduation.
Takes a high attention span, I don't know.
Crazy.
But
SHU is bigger and smaller than you know.
It is bigger. It's a lot bigger than I think people thought it was, or at least it felt like. I felt like I knew everyone, and then I started meeting people, and then I was like,
as the years went on, it started to get bigger. Like I remember my freshman class coming in was the biggest class,
and now every year since
and every year since has been the biggest class. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and PG, similar, when we came in, we were the biggest class, and it was like this big deal. And
like, it wasn't even that many people.
right now, when like the classes, if you look at the classes probably now in comparison, they would probably like laugh, like, "Oh yeah, you guys thought you were a big class."
You thought you were big. You're like,
that's why people should go to Sacred Heart, because more people are going.
There we go.
Because of the podcast, that's why.
I think so. But one thing we do actually like to talk about is your major and the career path that you chose through Sacred Heart. So you mentioned being undecided when you get to Sacred Heart. What did you have in mind? Like, I feel like when you're 18 years old, you have certain dreams for how your life is going to go. You may think, I don't know, but I figure it'll kind of go a certain way. Yeah. What was that path for you?
So for me, I wanted to be a PA. So I went in, I was like medical track. I unfortunately didn't get into the bio program. Thank God, actually, now that I'm looking back. No, it's terrible. I went in with the mindset that I was going to be a PA, medical track, was going to go to PA school there, all the things. Freshman year, I took bio for probably like 3 weeks. Professor Duchesne, that's who it was. Ooh, yes, Professor Duchesne. I dropped bio after 3 weeks. I was like, no, this is not for me. This path is not for me. So I decided I wanted to do media. So then I went down a media path. Sophomore year, I was like, no, scratch media. I'm going to be an accountant. I can do that, right? Just a few numbers. I got this. Not for me. Dropped that, withdrew from like 4 different classes, eventually became exercise science. Took some exercise science classes over the winter. I was like, this isn't for me. It took me so many classes to go through for me to finally talk to someone that was like, why don't you do health sciences? And I was like, I don't even know what that is, but okay. So I took health sciences, and like the icebreakers they always do, like on the first day of class or whatever, where the people like go around, say what their name is, their major, yada, yada, yada. Everyone was like, oh, I'm so-and-so, and I'm a pre-OT track. And I'm like, what is OT? Like, I actually never actually heard of what occupational therapy was, which is crazy to even say. And I was like, what is OT? So I started just doing my research a little bit more, found out where, it derived from, its background, things like that. And I was like, oh, I would love this. Like, I would be really good at this. Cause then I considered like physical therapy, but didn't quite want to go down that route. So I was like, this seems cool. So I talked to who I needed to talk to, ended up becoming a health science major. So I declared that first semester of junior year. Took all the classes that I need to take, started taking some more of my sciences, things like that. I had to take a few classes over winter and summer. And then end of junior year, I think it was either first semester of junior year or senior year or end of junior year. I had to apply for the OT program if I wanted to go to the one at Sacred Heart. And I applied to the program, still not fully knowing what OT even was, mind you. I got in on provisional acceptance, meaning I just needed to take one more class and pass it, and I was in the program. I was like, whoa. So here we are. Yeah, so I went through the OT program, learned more about it, fell in love with it, and became an OT. I took my boards. Go ahead. I'm about to cut you off.
I was going to say, what was that one class that you had to pass?
It was just like another random health science class.
Okay.
Like I was already good on all my sciences. I had to take some chems over the summer. I took all my anatomies. I took my bios that I had dropped freshman year. So I caught up on everything that I needed to catch up on. That one class was literally like a prereq health science class. That was
okay.
It. So got that, was done, got into the program, went through the program, met some great people in the program. Got to also go through grad school with OC, which was amazing because, we got to go through the grad school experience together. And then I started working. And then COVID hit. Literally.
Wait, I want to take a step back, but what?
Hold on, yeah, take a step back. Go ahead.
What was it like coming out of high school? Like, what did you want to be? Like, what was your dream job?
I wanted to be a physician's assistant. I wanted to be a PA.
Oh, okay.
So, like, prior to college, that summer or so, one of my really good friends, her dad is a surgeon at a hospital. So he allowed me to do like some shadowing hours or whatever. So I was there every day. I felt like I was part of Grey's Anatomy. I was going in, doing different shadowing hours. I loved it. I loved everything about it. I couldn't deal with the blood, though. I think that was one thing that got me. I could not deal with the blood. But yeah, that's what I wanted to do. I told myself I was going to be a doctor or, whatever.
Gotcha.
Changed my mind real quick. Yeah.
And then get into the OT program. Obviously, you mentioned it. Obviously, going through it, it's a different thing. Like going through undergrad, kind of figuring out what you want to do. Now you're in grad school. You're locked in on OT. Did you have any internships during your time in grad school or anything along those lines that helped you?
No. So, when you go through like a medical program like that, the OT program, you take like it's in trimesters. So you take your 3 trimesters of classes or whatever it is, and then you have clinical. So you start your fieldwork level 1, which is after the first 3 sets, or I think it was. I could be totally wrong right now, but that's what my memory is telling me. And then you take more classes, and then once you've finished all of like your core curriculum work, you go into level 2 fieldwork, which is essentially we are full-time workers, no pay. But we work full time basically. So we're in clinical, we're getting all those hours in, and you're in different settings. So like my first half, I was in a school setting. So I was out in Stanford. I was in 2 different schools, both special education schools. And then my second one, I was in a skilled nursing facility. So I was working with some pretty serious like cardiac, physical kind of stuff like that, those kind of deficits. So
and what about like once you started and you're getting into your actual like field work? Because I think similarly for media students, obviously again different things, but when you get your first experience into the real world, people they may say, okay, I want to do this, but after getting that real world application, you kind of maybe that part wasn't necessarily for me. Did you have any moments along like that?
Yeah. So when I was through the program, I was like, I will not work with kids. I don't want to work with kids. Like I can't deal with parents. I was against pediatrics. I was like, I'm going to work with young adults, whatever. I kind of wanted to work with like substance abuse and things like that. And the more mental health aspect of OT. And then as I started working, it was like getting those placements in field work was very difficult. And so a lot of my placements were with pediatrics, and I did school placements and things. So after graduating, I was like, I really like this. Like, I really like working in the schools. It's a nice flexible schedule. Like, I like working with the kids. So my first job right out of grad school was working in a special education preschool.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And like I said, I was there for 4 months, and then COVID hit.
And what was that like for you at that point? And then trying to figure out navigating COVID, navigating the early days of your career.
Well, the whole early days of my career were very difficult. So OC had gotten a job with the OKC Thunder right before I sat for boards. So I already had anticipation that he was already leaving. He had to go to OKC. We made a plan. I was going to go out there eventually, but like I wanted to just kind of start my career first. So I started my career. We're long distance. He's out in OKC right now. And then this pandemic hits. And I'm like, okay, you're out there. I'm here. I just started working. Like, what are we doing here? What is happening? So I had to not only navigate how to, as a first-time OT, switch over to telepractice. So I had to learn how to essentially work with 3-year-olds with special needs via computer, which was really, really difficult, especially when their parents were like, oh, here's my kid. Have fun. I'm like, you kind of have to stay with them. They didn't get that part. But so trying to navigate that, was I going to move to Oklahoma? Was I going to stay in New York? Ultimately, I packed up my bags. I bought a $26 flight and I moved to Oklahoma. So in the middle of the pandemic. So I was working telehealth with my New York job in the beginning. And then I had gotten a clinic position in Oklahoma. So then I was going to an outpatient setting working with kids. So like in a clinic after I finished my teletherapy. So trying to just juggle, first off, trying to understand how to be an adult, how to, navigate this first year career as an OT, and then navigating telehealth plus in-clinic work and just different settings. It was a lot. It was a lot. Long story short.
For sure.
It was hard. It was hard for sure. But I think it shaped me a lot. It gave me some different perspective, and it taught me how to be really flexible, which is really important. So obviously when I start talking about like what I do now, that'll be really important. Yeah, it was a fun time.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, how is it just, I guess, like, working with different kids from different states? Like, I don't know if I want to say, like, is it easier or harder, or, like, is it just like a different type of, even though it's obviously still the U.S., but different kind of like cultures and things like that?
No, that's a good question. So when I was in Oklahoma, my primary population was the Latino population. A lot of the Latino population in Oklahoma, super underserved, very, very, very underserved, a lot of discrepancy. So a lot of the children that I saw were coming from families that, were impoverished and things like that. I had to learn how to speak like very good Spanish while working there, and my Spanish is not good whatsoever. So that was, again, fun. I had to have a lot of translation help, things like that. But it was definitely different in that sense. I felt like there was a lot more discrepancy against certain cultures and certain people living in Oklahoma, for example. Mm-hmm. And then I also worked in Virginia. Forgot to mention that. So after Oklahoma, then moved to Virginia. And even the Virginia school system versus like the New York school systems, it's just very, very different. Like culture shock, kind of.
What was the biggest difference between Virginia to Oklahoma?
Ooh, Virginia to Oklahoma. Well, I worked in two totally different settings.
Okay.
Yeah. So in Oklahoma, I worked in like an outpatient setting. So it was like a lot more medical. So, I had kids that had a lot more medical needs, high needs, things like that. Mm-hmm. Whereas Virginia, I was in a school-based setting. And I felt like the resources weren't really there. I don't know. It's like a hard comparison. I feel like you have to like work in the school to kind of fully understand and know, but it was just a culture shock for me, just being from New York. You know what I mean? So that part was tough.
And obviously, like, then end up back here in the New York area.
Yeah.
Can you take us through that transition back here to New York?
Yeah. So I ended up finding out I was pregnant with my daughter. So we moved back, and I ended up applying for another preschool position because it felt comfortable. I knew how to do it. I was like, this is back to my home grounds. And I did that, and it was cool. And as I was going through it, I think that's when I kind of started just reflecting on my entire career as an OT. And you know what? Let me go back to Virginia really quick. One thing I felt was very underappreciated as an OT. Like, they essentially called us like glorified handwriting teachers. That's what I was. I was the handwriting teacher. And so I think that sat with me a lot, like mentally, and even just other jobs, like people not really fully understanding what an OT does and what our role is in a child's life, especially working in pediatrics. I think a lot of it just got to me. So when I moved back to New York and I started working in the preschool again, I think it was like a little light bulb flashed over my head. And then when I had my daughter, I was just like, I was on maternity leave, and I was like, I'm gonna open my own practice. I was like, I don't want to work for someone else anymore. I don't want someone to tell me how to do my job who didn't go to school for the amount of time that I did or learn the stuff that I learned, tell me how to do my job. Mm-hmm. So I just started my own business. I started my own practice. I don't know if we're into that segment yet, but
we're here now.
Yeah. So I started my own business. I am pediatric. I am an outpatient clinic. So people come to me, and I primarily focus on mental health, emotion regulation, a lot of sensory integration. So many kids nowadays are just, I feel like kids are having so much more difficulty regulating themselves, dealing with anger, dealing with any kind of emotion in general. And also just like talking, getting things out. And then on top of that, just, having a really hard time with attention and focus and all of this stuff. I feel like it's just like increasing heavily. Maybe we're just more aware of it as a nation now, but I just feel like it's a lot. So that's kind of what I honed in on, and I really love what I do now. I truly do.
You got to drop the name of your practice now. Well, we got to plug it for the people.
She got the shirt on.
Oh, Brandon, PG, you're the only one who showed up ready.
It's called Spectacular Kids Occupational Therapy.
Okay.
So I'm located in Bronxville, New York, and it was fun. It started off with, I had 3 clients, and I was working out of, my mom and her friend are psychotherapists. And they have like, obviously a small office that you would do like talk therapy in. And so I started there. That's where I started.
What do you mean by psychotherapy?
Psychotherapy, like talk therapy.
People that are insane?
No! You never talked to a therapist before? So you got problems, you go to a therapist.
Well, you said psycho, so I was like, I didn't know you're gonna go talk to like the people in the hospital that are like going crazy.
I mean, sure, some of the people might be going crazy, but no, just like every day, like a therapist, like a shrink. You never heard someone say like, you need a shrink? Yeah. Like,
I just never heard someone say psychotherapist.
There's psychiatrists and then there's psychotherapists. They're not psychiatrists. They can't prescribe like medication and stuff.
You're blowing PG's mind right now. I can see the wheels turning.
I want to talk about, but on a serious note, I want to talk about like the business aspect and like how you got into, you're in your entrepreneurial bag. So like, I want to know like, what was the process of that and what did you learn from that? Because I don't know I'm not saying that you didn't learn it in school because you were in business. So I'm saying like, how do you navigate all that?
Patience. Patience is honestly, that's my number one thing. And you have to be ready to deal with loss because I think I took a lot more hits than reward in the beginning. You know, I'm going into 4 years now of doing it. And in the beginning, it was tough. Like I said, I had 3 clients, and I was working out of a psychotherapy office with a couch. And I had a couple puzzles and I eventually bought a trampoline, but I had to get it out of the room every Monday, Tuesday so that my mom could do her sessions. So it was tough.
You need the trampoline too.
They might. But it looks a lot different than an OT gym. You know, an OT sensory gym is rock walls and swings and slides and mats and padded areas with tons of toys. Like, what do I do for a living? I play. So functionally. I functionally play. So trying to really utilize my skills, I think the part of school that helped me there, we had a class called Therapeutic Use of Self. And that's exactly what I had to do. I had to use myself as the therapy tool. And I really had to just make it work for like probably 8 months before I obviously gained enough money to then go open my own space. Mm-hmm. So then I eventually opened my own space. But then, you know, I had to start paying rent and I had to pay for a note-taking system, you know, an HR system. And then I had to pay for internet and this and that and the third. And, you know, all that stuff started to add up. So those 3 clients weren't cutting it anymore. Like I needed to start branding and getting out there. So you really have to, one, be patient, accept loss, and you have to put yourself out there. So if you're someone that's like uncomfortable and kind of shy and you don't want to go talk to random people or send emails, it might not work for you. You really have to, you know, I sat there, remember for a couple hours, I sent like 60 cold emails. I did like 30 cold calls, just calling random doctor's offices, different people who might be affiliated, like social workers, things like that. Just putting my name out there and explaining to them what I do and who I work with. And yeah, it was rough. It was tough. You know, there were some months where I made negative just so I could pay off what I needed to pay off. So I wasn't bringing anything in. But eventually, you know, I found ways of like getting some tables at different events. So like this past last September, I did a table at the Chappaqua Children's Book Festival in Chappaqua, New York. And so I got a table. There were thousands and thousands of people there. So just those people walking past my table, taking flyers, talking to me, you know, playing the games. I was giving out like free things for the kids, things like that. It kind of built my name, built my confidence, built a lot. And I also had a great support system. So that is also really helpful. Just having friends, I would say primarily even friends, like my family's there for me, but it's my friends that really held it down. OC that really just like pushed me and held it down. Promoting every time I share something on Instagram, resharing it, posting it, things like that. Patience.
No, that's awesome. So how many clients do you have now and how many employees do you have now?
Yeah. So I am it's a one-man show. I'll get into that in a minute. That's something I got to work through for myself, my trust issues. But I am now up to 17 people. And that is by choice because obviously I have my daughter at home. So I try to only go into work 2.5 days a week. Mm-hmm. I could definitely open up more days right now. So it feels really good that I've built that connection. I'm now part of the Bronxville Chamber, which is our little town. So I'm part of the chamber. So they're constantly, you know, advertising me as the therapist in the area. I've done some work. There's something called the Bronxville Playroom, which is like a it's a play area for kids where they can come and, like typical play space, but I've done some stuff with them. I've done like baby tummy time classes and just kind of put my name out there with them. Again, these were all based on cold emails. That's how I met them. Things like that. And so, yeah.
And how do you find balancing being a working mom? I know it's something that similarly, like with my wife, there's always, you're always figuring out the balance. And I don't think, even just I think of the countless women that I've worked with who are working moms and my own mother, there's never like that perfect balance. But how do you, how have you found it?
It's hard. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's hard. Especially, like I said, when I first started my practice, she was only 9 months. And I was fully nursing. I nursed her until she was 2.5. So it was like, I had to be there. It was very, very difficult. But, you figure it out. You make it work. It's very helpful when you have a support system. Obviously, I know not everyone has that big support system. But mine and OC's schedules kind of work to the point where if he's not traveling, he's home, which is really helpful. He's working from home. So what we would do is when I'm not there, he would kind of be full-time dad. And then when I came home, it was like we swapped. Mm-hmm. And so then he would go up, do what he needed to do. And I would kind of take over from there. Mm-hmm. But it's an adjustment. It's hard. I mean, there's sleepless nights for sure. So work that I didn't get to get done when I got home, I'd have to wait until she went down, and I would be up until, 2 a.m, doing my billing, doing my whatever it might be. And it's just like those sacrifices that you kind of have to be willing to make. So I think being a working mom in general is insanely difficult. And I think, especially when you own a business, it's even, if I was just going to work, I'm not saying it's any easier, but if I was going to work and then got to clock out and leave, I'm not going to think about it. But obviously I have to think about my business 24/7. So it's a little.
See, I low-key envy the 9-to-5ers now.
Look, everyone's work is important. Everyone's work is hard. I don't want to downplay anyone's work.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those things where like, I can't just say, oh, okay, my work day's over. Because, like I said, I'm also working in more of a mental health field portion of OT. So I constantly have parents texting me, so-and-so just did this. What do I do right now? Can we call you? Can we FaceTime you? What'd you say?
You got 2 phones yet?
I do have 2 phones now. It took me a very long time to learn that. Let me tell you. So I had 1 phone, 2 lines, because I didn't want to give people my personal number. And also I still have a Tampa, Florida number. So I needed that 914 number to kind of match the business. When I tell you, people were blowing up my phone. And it was getting to the point, like I would respond to a message. You know how you accidentally respond to like the wrong person with a message? That almost happened to me so many times. I was like, I can't do this. I also need to be left alone after a certain hour of the day.
Protecting your peace.
Paul, I have 2 phones.
Maybe we'll get there one day.
You've been the 2-phone proponent for the longest, PG. Probably longer than anybody I've known, at least.
Oh,
I don't even use it anymore. But that's another story.
That's great.
Oh, God. I didn't lose my train of thought. I don't even know what I was talking about anymore.
I think it's actually that time, PG. It's time to close it out for the season.
Shoe. You ready for the fun questions?
Sure.
All right, we kind of touched on it before, but what was your favorite dorm that you lived in?
Seton.
Or house?
Well, I lived in Seton, and then I lived in what's that place called? Come on, the apartments. Hold on, work with me. Oakwood. There we go. Yes, I loved Oakwood. I really did. But the experience was no other. It was nothing like Seton. Like Seton was just a core. That was freshman year, Seton. So
can't beat Seton.
That's it.
All right. What was your favorite meal on campus?
So at 63s, they had egg salad.
63s?
Yes.
You're young.
I'm sorry. What else is it called?
It officially called 63s, but we just called it Flick.
Oh, okay. No, I called it Flick when I was there too. But
okay, you went with its government name for the pod.
Yes, it's government time for the podcast. Name for the podcast. At 63s, aka Flick, they had the salad bar. If you guys remember the salad bar, there was some egg salad in the salad bar, and this is just the weirdest craving ever. But that egg salad on a sandwich hit so good, you have no idea.
I don't think I
that was the first time we heard that answer.
AB, you had the egg salad?
You never had the egg salad?
I can't say I ever had.
My roommate went crazy for this egg salad.
I probably should hit the salad bar a little more often, but
look, I mean, it's been how many years? I don't know if the egg salad is the same. Who knows? I don't think any food is made.
They got a lot of options now. So
they got different now. They got like sushi bars
cookies. Don't forget about those cookies that were sitting in there.
I remember the cookies.
Okay.
Yes.
Egg salad and some cookies. That's it. That's all I needed.
Would you put the egg? Would you make a cookie with egg salad on it? Like,
if I wanted to go throw up, yes.
That's an insane question.
If I wanted.
Did you stuff your egg salad sandwich?
All right, last fun one for me. AB might have a bonus one, but who was your favorite professor in undergrad and grad school?
Like I said, I have minimal recollection of professors' names. I don't know why, besides Miller and Professor Duchesne, who was my bio teacher. My favorite professor, I wish I could remember his name, but do you guys remember that Art of Thinking class?
Wow. That is something.
We're taking it way back to Art of Thinking.
So long, yes. Wow.
I cannot remember this man's name, but that was my favorite professor, hands down. He canceled the first class, the middle class, the last class, and when he came to class, he said, "Try your hardest." That's it.
Was that the art class that you had to take?
Yes, it was like forced. Like you had to. It was.
I don't remember what it was. I don't know if
it was so hard. I remember that final. That was the worst final ever. Art of Thinking was the worst.
I remember doing a project on sports jerseys and their colors, and it was cool.
For Art of Thinking?
Art of Thinking?
No, it was different. I think it was a different art class because I had to do
art. No, Art of Thinking was like some like philosophy. It was like some pre.
Oh, I had to do it. I don't know. You guys wait. Didn't you guys didn't have like an art elective? I had like an art elective.
No,
I don't think I had an art elective like that.
I don't know.
But Art of Thinking was like one of the core curriculum. It was
one of the core curriculum classes. Yeah, like you had to take it. I cannot remember.
That was the one.
He was hands down my favorite. He was so chill. He was great. Are you still stuck on this?
I'll have to look at. I'll look at my. What's it called? What's the thing called? Oh my god.
Your transcript? I don't know.
Yeah, my transcript. I'll look at my transcript.
I don't know how to find a transcript.
Yeah.
Okay, well, only one for me is favorite SHU memory, non-class related, just like event, day with friends, whatever it may have been. Favorite day at Sacred Heart.
I feel like there were so many.
Gotta pick one.
A lot of them, I'm going to be honest, I probably can't remember for very valid reasons.
Time passed.
And I will say, like, any time with friends was just great. Like, we bring out Darty season. That was just a great time. That's like, I feel like Osi and I were just talking about this the other day. Like, there's that smell in the air.
Yes.
When you know it's like starting to get warm out and you're like, it's Darty season. You know what I mean? Like that for me that's a wonderful memory. Just time with friends. Time when there was just drama-free, good times, whether we stayed in, went out, whatever. And then obviously, if I'm going to be cutesy, senior week.
That's it. SHU love. We didn't even get into SHU love in this episode.
SHU love, senior week.
We always end it with what SHU fun SHU, but we got to end it with SHU love here. Close out the season with a true SHU love story. PG.
Oh, you want me to ask the question?
You got to.
Oh boy.
Okay. So, all right. So you touched on it right there, but how did you meet Osi? And when did you guys fall in love?
Oh man. We met senior week.
PG in his Oprah bag.
It was kind of like a build up each night. We'd talk, wave, hey, things like that. And then commencement ball. It was just Mask Off came on, and that's our song. That was it. There was no turning back from that moment.
Yo, they say Future don't make love songs. Look at this.
Look, Future makes love songs. That's going to be our wedding song is Mask Off. Instrumental. We keep it classy. When did we fall in love? You'd have to ask him that one too. But I'd say pretty quickly, at least for me.
There we go. That's a great answer.
Pretty quickly, I'd say we said like the whole "I love you." Like, actually, we took a little while.
First?
Who said it first? Oof.
PG getting all of.
I feel like it was a mutual thing. We kind of talked about it, and then you know what? He said it first. Actually, I'm going to say that he said it first. I kind of like.
Why you laughing?
I kind of built it up, and then he said it, and then I was like, "Okay, I love you too." Yeah, that was a while after though. That was like, I feel like we went like a full year before we said that. We were trying to be like mature adults. You know what I mean?
Look at it. 9 years later.
Here we are. Still trying to figure it out.
AB has SHU Love too. One day I'm going to reverse it, and I'm just going to interview AB like on the what you do
on the SHU Love. I got you. Whenever you're ready.
All
right. Anyhow, Kaliyah. I'm glad we got to the SHU Love because this is another one of PG's favorites. I think PG always says that Fun Shoe is his favorite, but I actually think it's SHU Love because we know PG's got he's a lover at heart.
It's uncomfortable.
I think we asked you at the football game,
and we were both sitting there together. So like, feed off of one another. Now I'm like, he's not here. Like, I don't know.
It's good stuff.
I'm like making something up. Like, what if this was like a fantasy in my head and it didn't really happen? You know? Who knows? That's why I go see a psychotherapist, I guess.
For the clinically insane. Anyhow, Kaliyah, this has been a pleasure. What a way to close out season 3 of What SHU Doing. We appreciate your time. One more time, go ahead and plug your business. Let the people know where they can find you.
Spectacular Kids OT. Find me in Bronxville, New York. Send your kids to me.
Thank you. This has been another episode of What SHU Doing. We'll see y'all next time.